Tonight we begin our look at a dozen potential Republican candidates for president that we call 12 in 2012. To be clear, so far none of these Republicans say they have declared they're running. And there could, of course, be other Republicans outside the 12 we've chosen to highlight who eventually get into the race. We'll even have a 13th piece that includes others who have been mentioned. This series will run every night on Special Report for 12 nights and culminate in a 1-hour special. Leading off, Indiana Governor Mitch Daniels. Indiana's Mitch Daniels, a Republican governor with a growing reputation as a hard-nosed budget chopper, is someone you might not expect to meet, pulling into the state fair on his Harley-Davidson. Daniels likes to do and be the unexpected. When he was elected as governor in 2005, he took over a state that hadn't balanced its budget in 8 years. Daniels, who served as President George W. Bush's budget director, went to work to close the state's deficit. But he did so with some dramatic and controversial ideas. His first day in office, he decertified all government employee unions. And in 2006, sold off the state's largest toll road, 157 miles of highway stretching from Ohio to Illinois, to an Australian company.
We took a toll road losing money because politicians were running it and got $4 billion roughly for it. Already the toll road is better than it's ever been. They've added lanes. We got the safest road ever.
Within a year, Daniels had balanced Indiana's books.
We are paying all our bills. We do have money still in reserve. We did it without raising taxes.
However, Daniels did propose a 1-year, 1% surtax increase on those earning more than $100,000. But his fellow Indiana Republicans balked. It was one of the reasons why his approval rating dropped to 33% in his first year in office. But he recovered. In 2008, even as the national economy was crashing and Barack Obama was carrying Indiana, Daniels won a second term by 18 points. His approval rating now is around 65%. And many Hoosiers think what Daniels has done for them could work well for the rest of the country.
My man Mitch for Prez. We've had him for quite a few years. We like what he's done. We're ready to share him with the world.
Arrived in Indianapolis today to this headline in the Indianapolis Star. Is Daniels setting table for 12?
No. And, you know, never planned to be a candidate for anything again, and have said so over and over. People have said, keep an open mind or reopen your mind to this. I've said, all right, but nothing's really changed in my outlook at this state.
Maybe not, but Daniels is already handing out advice at the national level.
You recently said that perhaps there needs to be a truce on social issues until you get through the economic emergency.
Yeah.
That raised some eyebrows, obviously, with social conservatives.
I believe that we have a transcendent issue. The debt is now growing at a terrifying rate. All I'm saying is that it would help if the awareness grew that we are in this together in this country in a way that we have rarely been apart from wartime.
If you had to pick one foreign policy issue that's most pressing to the nation, what do you think it would be?
Managing the Chinese relationship, probably, for mutual advantage of both countries.
The debt problem you see as a national security issue.
I absolutely do. I do believe at this point in our history, the gravest security threats to us will come in a rush if we go broke. We are borrowing now far more than the entire defense budget.
Daniels' experience as President Bush's budget director might help or hurt him in a 2012 run.
The Bush administration came in with a $236 billion surplus, and when you left, you had a deficit of $400 billion. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, well, budget directors don't pass.
I understand
Appropriations. You know, I never had a.
But you're part of the team.
Okay, but you know, the surplus. Nobody hated to see it go more than I did. But that wasn't policies. That was the popping of the bubble. We had remember the dot-com bubble? We would love to be back at the deficits now.
Of $400 billion.
Even that, let alone it was down below 200, you know, within a couple, 3 years.
Most folks believe that in order to do anything on the big picture, you have to go after entitlements.
They're right.
Social Security and Medicare.
We're headed for a really interesting historical moment. Those who are against change in these programs are the enemy of Social Security. They're the enemy of Medicare. The rescuers are those who are prepared to make big changes so we have something that'll still work in 10 years or 20. I say to people, why are we sending pension checks to Warren Buffett? You know, why are we going to pay for Bill Gates' health care? Does that make any sense? No. Okay, so maybe we ought to concentrate the resources on the people who need them most, who are most vulnerable.
Means test.
That's the Washington term, yeah.
Supporters call Daniels the un-Obama. Political analysts say in this environment, while that may be a plus, Daniels might not get a lot of attention right away.
I don't consider him a dynamic individual that people are going to jump up and down and rave about, but they're going to respect him.
Even as Daniels embraces the heartland, he is still taking a national view.
We're facing problems in this country of a dimension I never expected to see. You can't run a family, gas station, let alone a country, with these levels of debt. And it's mathematically certain we're going broke if we don't change in a very large way.
Our series continues Friday with a profile of Mississippi Governor Haley Barbour.